Welcome, everybody. It is so good to have you here. If you can turn your cameras on, please do so. If not, that's okay. I would like to introduce you all to the incredible Neale Donald Walsch. Neale needs no introduction. He is the author of one of my favorite all-time series, and that's Conversations with God. I first learned about Conversations with God when I was in my 20s, and it absolutely, literally changed my life. His books have been translated in 37 languages. He is, I'd say, is the top spiritual author of our modern day. And we are so lucky to have him here. Welcome, Neale, and welcome everybody else. So I'm going to start with the questions. We've been talking about Neale's book. Okay, Letters to a Young Seeker. If you don't have this book, please get yourself a copy. I can see Angie has hers with her. We'll put the link as where to get the book, okay, in the email that we send out to you. Make sure you have your copy. It is incredible. I've got so many notes. So I'm going to start with a question, and then Inigo has a question. If you have a question, please put your hand up. Okay, we have a short time together, so if you are called, you can ask your question. But I wanted to ask this question to you, Neale, with everybody here, because it's one that I see as a elite performance and mindset and success specialist. I see it over and over again. People at Your Two Minds and my clients have big goals, and as soon as they decide to go for their goal, often they experience the opposite. Sometimes this leads people to quit. Inner awareness number 6, which I absolutely love from your book, the moment you declare yourself to be anything, whether it's successful, a millionaire, or whatever, its opposite will appear in your awareness. So I would love to start with that question. If you can elaborate on that, please, Neale.
Yes, and I would like to explain to those who've just joined us, when you said it was inner awareness number 6, the book, Letters to a Young Seeker, contains 21 inner awarenesses, 21 letters, each letter containing an inner awareness. Number 6 is about the law of opposites. And you quoted it correctly. I was told in my conversations with God, Neale, the moment you declare yourself to be anything, happy, joyful, patient, understanding, abundant, humorous, whatever you decide that you wish to be or that you are now being, its exact opposite will show up in your life. This is called the law of opposites. And the law of opposites says, in the absence of what you are not, what you are is not. Here is what you are, and here's what you are not. But in the absence of what you are not, what you are is not. And I said to God, wait a minute, I don't understand. Help me understand. What are you saying to me? And so God said, Neale, you're 6 feet tall, right? That's what you are. Yep, that's what I am. I am 6 feet tall. God said, okay, now, what if everything in the world was 6 feet tall? Every building, every plant, every tree, every other person? What if everything in the universe was 6 feet tall? What if nothing existed except that which is 6 feet tall? How would you then know what it's like to experience being 6 feet tall? You wouldn't be able to do it. There's no way you would know. Because in the absence of what you are not, what you are is not. Therefore, you will call into your life 5'7", 5'3", 9'12". You will call in that which is not what you are. Now, this can be really important if you decide that, I'm going to use a metaphor, just to use a metaphor. This is the metaphor God used with me. Supposing You decide that you're the light. Okay, just say it with me. I am the light. Okay, fair enough. You like to think of yourself as someone who brings light, lightheartedness, and enlightenment into the room. Fair enough. But in the absence of what you are not, what you are is not. Therefore, you will, in order to be the light, you will call in what? The darkness. Because in the absence of the darkness, being the light is impossible to experience. You'd be like a candle in the sun. There's no way to experience yourself as the light if you're a candle in the sun with a cajillion other candles. Therefore, said God to me, Neale, raise not your fist to heaven and curse the darkness not, but be a light unto the darkness, that you might know who you really are, and that all those whose lives you touch might know who they really are as well.
Wow. Wow.
It's really quite simple. There's no mystery here. There was a man who was walking around the planet 2,000 years ago who put the same idea in a different way, as you would have it done unto you. It's really quite simple.
Mm. Wow. In the absence of what you are not. Yeah.
What you are
Cannot
is not.
Is not.
In the absence of what you are not, what you are is not experienceable.
Yeah. The law of opposites. Thank you so much for that. All right, so we'll start with Inigo. Inigo, you've got a question for Neale.
Yes, Suzana, thank you so much. Hi, Neale. It's an honor again to meet you here. Since today conversation is about a letter to a young seeker, I'd love to ask this from a personal space. As a 23 years old young man who is still learning, growing, and trying to create a meaningful life, I sometimes feel that.
I'm having a difficult time understanding.
Yeah, Inigo, it's a bit crackly, so we can't really hear you well.
Yeah, what is the question?
So the question is, for a young seeker who wants to create a new life but still feels limited by who they used to be, what is the first inner shift they need to make? Yeah, that's the question.
So what is the first inner shift I need to make as a young seeker who wants to create a new life?
The first inner shift we need to make, in my experience, I could be wrong, but in my experience, is we have to stop thinking that this is who we are. I'm not my body. And I'm not my mind. My body and my mind are simply tools that are used by who I really am to complete the agenda of my life. And who I really am is a spirit. I'm a soul. I'm a spiritual entity having a body and a mind. But this is not who I am. So the first step we must take is to embrace our true identity, to realize that, I'm a spiritual entity having come to the physical realm in order to demonstrate, to announce, to declare, to express, to fulfill who I really am.
Wow.
As an individuation of divinity. Wow. And when I do that, in every moment with every person whose life I touch, I experience not only who I am, but my very reason for living. Wow. And everything else falls in on you automatically. Again, the man who was here 2,000 years ago, he also told us that. He said, quite simply, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you.
Yeah.
It's really quite simple.
Yeah. So the number one thing, remember who you truly are, not as a human, but as pure divinity.
And the
Thank
fastest way to remember who you really are is to cause everyone whose life you touch to remember who they really are.
Yes. Wow. Wow. Powerful, profound.
Thank you so
So
much. That's really
thank you. So everyone that you meet and everyone's life that you touch, help them remember who they are. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So Sukama has his hand up and you, Pendra. So we'll go Sukama first.
Hi,
And
good morning.
just before you, if you can, when you ask your questions, please just be straight to the question, succinct and quick, okay? Because we don't have a lot of time. So Sukama, go for it.
Thank you. The question is, I've read your books and I understood it quite well. So my question is coming from my background. We do believe in spirits trapped in the world and that sort of thing. I couldn't really understand why are the spirits trapped in the world. If you say when we die, you just reincarnate into a different soul, and the soul decides to whatever they want to become, the next reincarnation.
So, what is the question?
So my question is, why is there spirits trapped in this world?
Nowhere in the entire Conversations with God dialogue will you find the words
Yeah,
spirits
like
are trapped in the earthly. You just quoted something that's not found anywhere in the dialogue
yeah,
in 3,000 pages. So you made up a question out of something that doesn't exist. Conversations with God does not say we are trapped here. It says we come here to the physical realm voluntarily, intentionally. We're not trapped here. The soul, if we are a true spiritual entity, my understanding, my understanding is that if we are a true spiritual entity, we cannot be the victim of our having come here. We're not trapped here. We reincarnate. In fact, the proof that we are not trapped here is what you said a moment ago. We die and go back to the spiritual realm, and then we descend in. We're not trapped in the realm of the physical. We come back here because this is the place in the entire universe where we have the golden opportunity to announce and declare, to express and fulfill, to become and to demonstrate who we really are. Because in the realm of the physical, we encounter every opportunity, including we encounter that which we are not. And it's in the encountering of what we are not that we get to be who we are. That's why we continue to reincarnate. You know,
so it's just the understanding of different cultures. So it's my cultural background from Hindu and Indians and things like that. They always say this is not in the book, but I was just thinking back in the background of the understanding. People say when you die prematurely and if you're not fulfilled whatever you're supposed to do and things like that, the soul can be trapped in this world, being like a ghost or and that sort of thing. I couldn't find that information in the book, so that I'm just asking whether is there such thing as potentially becoming a ghost, with you dying with wishes that not fulfilled and being trapped in this
my
world in
understanding.
that time.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you for the question. My
Yeah.
understanding is that the soul is never required to do anything it does not want to do. Therefore, the soul, I'm sorry that there are some philosophies that apparently think that the soul can be trapped, but my understanding is the soul is an individual expression of God, and it cannot be trapped or caused to experience anything it does not willingly bring into its life.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Upendra. So remember, just be succinct with your question. Go straight into the question. And anyone else that wants to ask a question, please raise your hand. So Upendra, you're next.
Thank you, Neale. I can really resonate with what you're saying. Remember who really you are and you really are. And you mentioned, like, we're not trapped as a spirit, so we're not trapped into this material world. We are come based on our desires. And my question is, like, even though we are who we really are, sometimes we forget that, like, everything comes up, like, for example, in work life or a personal life, so many challenges comes to us. We forget our identity. We're not this body. We're a spirit soul living in this spiritual body. How do we um, remember, like, constantly, oh, this is not me, like, I'm experiencing as a spirit soul in this body. Yeah. How can we do that, like, every day in every challenges we face, like?
By remembering, by causing ourselves to remember every day who we really are, that we are actually spiritual entities. And the fastest way for me to remember is to remind everyone whose life I touch that I know who they are. I know that they are pure love. I know that they are spiritual entities, glorious demonstrations of divinity. And you know how you can say that to a person? I see you. For instance, when I look at Suzana, the first thing I think is, I see you. Even if you have forgotten temporarily who you are, I have not. I see you. I see you as a person who's chosen to bring messages of assistance, messages of insight, messages of help, messages of grander expanding awareness. You've chosen to devote a portion of your life, a large portion of your life, to this mission of helping other people. I see you. I see who you are. Not only do I see you, but I know what you're going to hear when you return to the realm of the spiritual. When you end this particular incarnation, these are the words you will hear from the God of my understanding.
Yeah.
Well done, good and faithful servant.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's just so powerful. So everybody, Neale and I had a conversation before we came on board talking about, the inner awarenesses of his book and also his life experience. And it reminds me of, Neale, the one that we ended with, which is so powerful, replace forgiveness with understanding, and how we spoke about even if somebody presents themselves in a negative way or maybe offensive, just by seeing their divinity and who they truly are can actually change the situation. So see divinity regardless. I see you. I see you. Very powerful.
Yes, and when we can say that to another person, it can change their life.
Absolutely.
So when you really see that another person brings forward qualities of kindness, generosity, clarity, love, understanding, compassion, tell them. Actually look at them and tell them right to their face, I see you. You can't fool me. I know who you really are. I see you. And thank you for being who you really are. Thank you for gracing my life with a portion of yours.
Wow, powerful, powerful. We can change the world just by these reminders every single day. Okay, Hannah, you have your hand up. What's your question? Hello, Hannah.
Hi, Suzana. Hello, Neale. My question is, yesterday I heard Emma Grede say, I look for moments of fear because I know that is where the growth is, and that's where my next moment of greatness is coming from. I've experienced this moment more times than I can count in my life. Can you expand on this and give us an example of a time in your own life where fear told you to follow the path of logic and instead you chose the path of surrender and love, even though it made no sense at all? And what was the outcome? And is fear ultimately the path that leads to love?
Yes, well, my acronym for fear, FEAR, you know, it's an acronym. It's an abbreviation, FEAR. False evidence appearing real. But I even have my own little abbreviation, FEAR. Feeling excited and ready.
Oh, I love that.
When I experience fear, I allow myself into moving into the feeling of excitement and readiness. Okay, life, bring it on. I can do this. I can do this. And so I allow myself to feel excited and ready. In the old days, I would have feared, but not anymore. And fortunately, I've had the experience as some of you may know, I lived for a year on the street as a street person because my life turned around and I wound up without a penny to my name, not one penny to my name. I couldn't afford to live in any place that had a roof over the top of it. I had to live on the sidewalk. But after a year of living on the street, I learned how to feel excited and ready for anything that could come along. Come on, life. Bring it on. Bring it on. Let me show you who I really am. Not bragging, just saying.
Do you think that you need to come to the end of your own understanding? And so many times people have to lose it all before they get to that point of surrender.
I think I don't think we have to. I heard you, she says, so many people have to lose it all. I don't think we have to lose it all to get to that point. But I think that some people do wind up, I was one of them, who wound up losing it all before I could regain it. Relationships that fell apart, financial situations that fell apart, life circumstances that fell apart, even health issues that caused my body to fall apart. I've had open heart surgery. I had a quintuple bypass. So I've been through, my own share of life adventures. But I don't think we have to. I don't think it's necessary. Some people could maybe just watch. It could be that they just happen to watch a podcast by a lady named Suzana, and they go, and something clicks, and they get it without having to go through all of this other stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So excited and ready. I love that. It reminds me of a quote that I remind myself and my clients is your obstacles, your problems are, excuse my language, Neale, are shit scared of your potential. Okay, so remember that your problems are shit scared of your potential. But it also reminds me of, Neale, which I mentioned in our conversation before everyone came on. A few years ago, I had an issue and I was on a call with Neale, and he said, remember to thank God, say, thank you, God, that this problem has already been solved. No matter how big it is, okay? Your problems are shit scared of your potential. Neale, do you have time for just one more question?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll make it a quick one because we do respect your time. So Christina from Serbia, we have an international team here. We've got people from Serbia, from the UK, from Bali, all around the world. So Christina, go for it. Please be succinct with your questions.
I will be so sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Suzana, for inviting me. And my question is do you think that people, if they feed their soul, will be will be happier in this world? If they feed the soul, I mean that people need that to be much more happy and to understand themselves in terms of their soul?
I can't answer the question for people because there are 8.5 billion people on the planet. So I can't announce what I think will be true for everybody else. I can only tell you what's been true for me. What's been true in my experience is when I began feeding my soul, paying attention to the spiritual part of me and serving that agenda, everything else fell into place. And I was happier. And not just happier because good things occurred in my life. I was happy just the way things were, even toward the end of my year on the street. The last 3 months of my 12 months living outside on the sidewalk were happy months because I had come to a place where I understood who I really am. Oh, I'm not my body. I'm not my mind. I'm a spiritual entity having a physical experience. And I remember, I don't want to brag, but can I just give you a quick example? I was out there asking people, could you maybe share some coins? And I had collected some money that day, just enough to maybe buy myself a little meal at a fast food place or whatever. But I met another person who was homeless who had even less than I did. And I remember giving some of the coins I had collected to that person who had less than I did. That was a turning point in my life.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And that reminds me of inner awareness. Was it number 7? Pain and suffering in your book. So you'll have to get Neale's book. And we did speak about pain and suffering and the difference with pain and suffering also just before this call. So Neale Donald Walsch, thank you so much for your time today. We can just imagine how busy you are. You always make yourself available for other people. And we appreciate you beyond measure. I'd like everyone to stay on this call just after Neale leaves, but just wanted to thank you. And any final words? What would your message to the world be? If you had one thing to say to the world, what would that be, Neale?
What God said to me, Neale, your life is not about you. It's about everyone whose life you touch and the way in which you touch it. But when you understand that, you will experience that in the universal sense, in the cosmic sense, your life is about you for an elegant reason. There's only one of us in the room. We are all one. I'm looking right now at Suzana, and all I'm seeing is another version of me. As the French would say, vive la différence. But I realize that Suzana and I, Hannah and Christina, all of us, we are all one. And if we decide to treat each other in that way, life on earth could change overnight. That would be my departing message. Your life is not about you. It's about everyone whose life you touch and the way in which you touch it. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Wow. 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 Your life is not about you.
It's about everyone whose life you touch and the way in which you touch it.
What a powerful, powerful message. And we are all one. Neale Donald Walsch, thank you again. You are amazing. Thank you for the gifts that you bring to this world. Thank you for reminding us for who we truly are, for reminding us of what really matters. And thank you for following your calling and voice from God to make the massive impact that God has made on this world through you. Thank you so much.
You're very kind to say those gentle words, and I receive that energy with humility and gratitude. Thank you for saying those very sweet things, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this time with you and with your audience.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you so much. Thank
Bye
you.
for now. Bye for now, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. So everybody, if you want to just stay for a few minutes, if you've got time, how lucky were we? Wow. Wow. Every time, that was my 5th time that I've been on a Zoom call with Neale, either him or I, or in my community. The 2nd time I've brought him into Your Two Minds. Your Two Minds is so lucky to have him. The other times was one-on-one. And every time I leave the call, I am different. I am expanded. He has touched my soul. I would love to hear your highlights. What was your highlight, if you'd like to share? And are there any questions? While you raise your hand, I just want to remind you that we have Your Opulent Self next week. Okay, it's a free 4-day experience. Make sure you get Neale's book. If you don't, everybody that registers for your Opulent Self, we can get you a copy, an electronic copy. But I would love to hear what stood out for you, and if you have any questions. So Christina, have you got your hand raised? Did you want to share what your...
I joined. I was late a little bit, but I really enjoyed this call. And in terms of spirituality and everything, what Neale said and his life and everything, you know, I really enjoy. And now I'm different, as you said, like that. I can recognize some things which there are people who can share with no obligation their life and what they experienced in terms of physical. I mean, not physical, but in terms of spiritual and universal.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. And sometimes there's no words, and we can all experience that. I think that's what his message is. Every single one of you on this call can experience that. Thank you so much. Hannah, what was your highlight?
So
Oh, we can't hear you, Hannah. You're cutting
sorry?
out. We can't hear you. Can you try again? You're cutting out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I jumped in a little bit late at the beginning, so I didn't hear everything that he was saying about the love and the fear. And it sounded so good, but I couldn't grasp it because I didn't catch the whole thing he was saying at the beginning. Are you able to expand on that all, or sort of in a nutshell explain what he said?
Absolutely. So all of you that have been on this call will get the recording, okay? So we're just going to chop it up because there's been 2 sections, so you will get the recording. Was that about when he was saying get excited about the fear? Was it, someone asked a question around fear, and you know, he said when he sees and feels the fear, he gets excited because it's an opportunity for expansion. It's an opportunity to experience our real divine selves. Now, your divine self beyond your physical, and Hannah, you're one that really knows this, is infinite. There's infinite wisdom within you, okay? Your core essence already has the solution. He also mentioned that, you know, in the Bible, it says, you know, focus on God first, and the kingdom of heaven shall be yours. The whole kingdom shall be yours, okay? So focus on your divinity Focus on who you truly are. Focus on your core essence, and everything else will fall into place. So I think that's what you're referring to. Okay, so the key message is remember who you truly are. You're not Trish, you're not Caroline, you're not Anita. Okay, although that aspect of you, Chris, is, and hello Nada, that aspect, the physical part of you is absolutely marvelous. Absolutely marvelous, magical, incredible. But if you're focused on your physical part, which is less than 1% of who you truly are, you fall into problems. Okay, the ego takes over. When the ego takes over, the problem becomes bigger than yourself. We fall into stress, negativity, etc. With the mindset shift, okay, with the reminder, the daily, and you really do need a daily reminder. I've been doing this work for over 35 years, and I still need the daily reminder. Neale still needs the daily reminder. So the daily reminder of the truth of who you are, which is pure divinity, okay, you are able to get excited about whatever comes. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't experience the grief, the anger, whatever it is, but you allow it to flow through you and you come back to the truth of who you are. That also is the pure potential for manifestation too. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. Does anyone else? Sorry, go ahead, Hannah. Anyone else want to share? Nada, hello, Nada Martinovic, all the way from
Hi.
the States. Hello, so good to see
I
you.
hope
I've got
it's
two Nadas here today, and they're both amazing, and I love them both. So, except one is cheeky. She's in my old office where I used to work, or somewhere there. Go for it, Nada.
first of all, just to make sure, was it like it's seven right now? It's 7:40 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure if I was late. Maybe a few minutes, I hope. But anyway, for me, two things stood out. Well, the whole thing stood out. Just being in the room, just like this is my first time being, well, it's a Zoom room. I just could not. I can't explain, but it just transcended through the screen across
Yes.
the ocean. It was just pure magic, really. It was divine. But the sentence that really caught my attention was it was probably the first that I heard because I was just joining in. And he said, in the absence of what you are not, right? Then you, like, it was like, oh, wow. He, that was so, so powerful.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that really stood out for me.
Thank you, beautiful Nada. Whenever I'm in your presence, I feel just exactly what
Oh.
you've said. That's so true. Aren't we lucky? Who was here the last year we had Neale on? You know, we are so blessed in this community to have experienced this. This is truly a once in a lifetime experience. And now you can all say you've met Neale Donald Walsch and take this part and you'll have the recording that you can listen to. Okay. So that's a gift from us. But I love that you brought that up, Nada. Okay. In the absence of you know, what you don't want, you can't experience what you do want. So the law of polarity. And I love that. And I wanted to start with that because I've had thousands and thousands of people come through our community. And it's so interesting. And Anita, you would have experienced this. It's so interesting when we set out and decide that we're going to go for that big thing that we desire that we've never achieved before. Okay, we will experience the opposite. And what tends to happen to many of, you know, of my clients and people is they start to think, oh my God, you know, what's happening? You know, I'm failing. This is not working. And I'm so grateful for your two minds because this is where most people quit. Okay, they think it's too much of an obstacle. They think it's too much of a challenge. They think it's never going to happen for them. But when you understand the law of polarity, the law of opposites, you know Okay, as soon as you make a decision or you want to experience something, different, something better, you will also experience, or the opposite will come into its awareness, because the two are the same thing. Okay, they're just the opposite side of the spectrum. So what happens then, for what I've seen in my community and in your two minds, what happens then, people start to experience the obstacle, and they can change the energy from, oh my God, this is not working, to, wow, this is working, and I'm going to use this energy to transform. Okay. Remember, no matter what problem you have, what obstacle you have, it is necessary. It is necessary for a number of reasons. First of all, it cracks you open so that you can become the person, the vessel that can receive the goodness that you're seeking. It cracks you open because you must let go of the smallness of who you thought you were. I'm going to repeat that. You must let go of the smallness of who you thought you were. Those paradigms, those messages that you've been told about yourself all your life. And you must step into a new possibility. And there are infinite possibilities for you. And it's ironic that one of my favorite colleagues and dear friends, Nada Vindus, is here, because we worked for the same company, and I stepped into the unknown, and now we have all of you here. That was an impossible dream. Okay, anything is possible for you. Anything. Remember your divinity. Thank you, Nada Martinovic, for sharing that. Benisa, my beautiful Benisa from South Africa. We'll wrap up with Benisa, okay? And then I've got some announcements to make, which I think you'll love. So good to have you with us, Benisa. We miss you. We can't hear you. Do you want to unmute yourself? Maybe you...
Can you hear me?
Ah, there she is. Benisa,
Hi.
famous singer from South Africa, and she's a Your Two Minds community member. So great to have you here, Benisa. What would you
It's so
highlight?
good to be here. My heart is pounding in such a good way. Like, talk about being at the right place at the right time. This man is amazing. Sure, Suzana, thank you so much for such a great opportunity. And I saw your email by chance. But sometimes, because it's 2 a.m. in South Africa, people are sleeping. So I could have just looked at your email and said, nah, I'll see it some other time. But something said, you need to open that email. And from that moment that I went on, I needed to hear everything. From what I experienced last year, this time, my life was shredded, but let me tell you, where I am right now, looking back, I realized why I had to go through what I went through last year, because now it's the complete opposite. And just being in your presence, guys, is just putting a stamp on it. I'm here to testify, y'all. Like, the bad must take place in order for the good to take place, and embrace the bad, because the bad is just there to mold, to strengthen certain areas of life, to prepare you for the good, so that when the good comes, you also embrace it and be aware of the good. Because if you didn't see the bad, you wouldn't know what the good is.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, it's so amazing. Thank you so much, Zena.
So much. And thank you for bringing in your beautiful energy to us all. And I told you that your goal will come true. I
Yeah.
just want to say a heartfelt thank you for every single one of you. I adore every single one of you. I adore our Your Two Minds community. We truly have the best community in the world. So just a couple of announcements. I would love to hear your highlights. So please send Inigo, and I want to acknowledge the incredible work that Inigo does behind the scenes. I don't know where we would be with Inigo, so congratulations and thank you to Inigo. But send Inigo an email, support@Your Two Minds. I would love to hear. You're also going to get a very quick survey so we can hear your highlights. Whatever you need from Your Two Minds, we are here. I'm looking at potentially creating a reading group where we study either this book or Conversations with God. I'm looking for a leader, though, to do that, because at this moment, I probably don't have the capacity to lead it. So if that's something that you would like, please let us know. Also, please join. So, Inigo, if you can put the your opulent self opportunity in the chat box, please. We start Monday. Okay, we have a brilliant team. If you haven't experienced your opulent self, you really need to experience this. Seriously, I'm astonished how over and over again, every time we do your opulent self, people send us, we're inundated with messages saying, oh my God, I can't believe in just 4 days, just 5 days, how my life has transformed and what's opening up for me. Okay, it's VIP is only $27. There's no excuse. Everybody has $27. You will experience a difference. And since you have joined today, okay, if you do join Your Opulent Self, we'll give you an electronic version of Neale Donald Walsch's book. Okay, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please reach out. We are here for you. And remember, I can see Anita's smiling face, Upendra, Sugama, Chriselle, so good to have you all here. I want all of you to know, my beautiful Trish, okay, I want all of you to know, remember, your life is not about you. It's not about the ego. Your life is about all of the lives that you touch. And when you touch another life, my beautiful Lucia, I've been looking at you all throughout the session. And when you touch another life, your life is touched too. Remember your divinity. Make a promise to yourself every day. You'll remember who you truly are. Thank you so much. Do the impossible. Go for that big, beautiful dream. And we look forward to hearing from you. Love you all. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.